Hey guys, my name is Kwame. Welcome to my channel, and today I'm here to tell you how I won the $10,000 Taco Bell Foundation Live Más Scholarship and how you can too. First is some context. So the Taco Bell Foundation Scholarship exists in three tiers. The first tier is the $5,000, the second tier is the $10,000, and then the third tier is the $25,000. I was fortunate enough to win the $10,000 one. But the application itself is actually pretty simple. So the application only consists of a 2-minute video. Now they've added a essay, but I would highly recommend the video. I'll get more to that in the tips. No test scores, no transcript, no recommendation, but you're just submitting a 2-minute video or a 500-word essay, which is going to detail your passions, what you're passionate about, how you've made an impact, and how you want to continue to help your community through the scholarship. So there are a lot of different passions to choose from. Some are medicine, business, computer science, and there are so many more. The passion I chose was community service, and I'll detail more into why I chose that later. It's actually super competitive, but don't let that scare you off. For reference, there were around 15,000 applicants, and there were only 544 awarded the scholarship. Don't let that scare you. I was actually not expecting to get the scholarship at all. I got a random email in April. Told me I got the $10,000 one. So make sure you apply. It's super easy and really simple, but there are a lot of ways in which you can mess it up, and that's why I'm here to give you tips today. The scholarship opens in November. It's already open now for the 2026 season, so make sure you go apply to the scholarship right now. It's due on January 6th, so make sure you don't forget. Not so fun fact, I did mine the day of, like 5 hours before the deadline. It was really stressful, and I submitted at like 11:57, and it's due at 11:59. So make sure you don't do that and actually plan ahead, and your video will be that much stronger. Now that you understand what the scholarship is and some background behind it, I'm going to show you my video, and then I'm going to explain some tips. So enjoy my video. My name is Kwame Mensah-Boone. I'm a high school junior from Durham, North Carolina. I'm passionate about community service, and this is my story. Passion for empowering others comes from my mother, whose disability has limited her mobility, ability to work, and even to walk. Growing up, I saw how access to resources can make a difference. This inspired me to serve my community, and even in the 5th grade running for student council, my slogan was, "Everyone deserves the chance to fly," and I've carried that belief with me ever since. And as I've grown, so has my impact. One major issue is cultural literacy, meaning knowledge of other cultures. And through my skills in cooking, I decided to volunteer with Cultures Kids Cuisines. I've already hosted 10 plus workshops for over 200 plus kids to teach them about the diverse cultures and another way I help my community is economically. I'm on the Participatory Budgeting Committee of the City of Durham. Participatory budgeting is a process that allows community members to directly decide how public funds are spent. Through the initiative, I help empower individuals, specifically by giving a youth voice in budgeting decisions. Through this, I've been able to manage over $6.4 million in funds and impact over 330,000 Durham residents. Since over 40% of my peers aren't financially literate, I decided to start the nonprofit organization, the Economic Literacy Initiative. My goal is to give my peers and youth the economic knowledge they need to succeed in life. Through my organization, I've been able to impact youth globally, whether that's the global chapter programs, weekly speaker programs, or the 40 plus global staff, the 200 plus newsletter subscribers, or the 850 Instagram followers. On every way, I've been trying to help my community. I hope to attend a 4-year university like Harvard or Stanford and be able to study computer science and economics and make the next global tools to empower more communities. But I need your help. Without the financial assistance of this scholarship, I wouldn't be able to attend those colleges, and I wouldn't be able to expand my impact and empower more communities, giving everyone the chance they deserve to fly. Okay, so that was my video. Watching it back and editing this, it really made me cringe, but what I think worked is the following tips I'm going to share. So the first tip is make sure you're actually doing the video. Some people have reached out to me and they noticed that they added an essay option of 500 words. 500 words is definitely, in my opinion, not enough. I'm pretty sure the essay is newer because I don't remember that being an option when I applied. But make sure you're doing the video. The video will give you so much room to tell your story, tell why you're passionate about what you're passionate about, and tell what you've done to show that passion. So making sure you're doing the video is already going to give you a leg up, in my opinion, over people who do the essay, because 500 words is really not enough for what they're trying to get from you. And they don't really get much else besides that essay or the video. So doing the video and doing the video well is super important, because that's pretty much the only thing you're graded on for the entire application. Okay, so my second tip is explain the why, not just the what. So in your video, you'll see that I did detail some of the things that I've done, like my nonprofit or volunteering and teaching kids about culture through cuisine. But underlying that, in the intro and in the finale, I made sure to explain the why behind. Explain my origin story of impact as to my mother, and explain how that integrates how I want to make an impact and how I currently make an impact on my community now. So a lot of people will just detail all the things they've done, but it's not just about impact. It's about narrative, story, and it's about why you're doing the things that you're doing. They don't know who you are. All they're seeing is this 2-minute video whose a representation of who you are. Making sure that you're showing why you do the things, whatever it is, and making sure that you're actually talking about the reason why you're doing the things that you've done is super important, so they understand you better as a person and they can kind of connect to you and not just see you as a robot that's done all of these things. Tip 3 is to connect it to your future. So if you notice at the end, I talked about what I want to major in college, and I talked about the universities that I might want to go to. Fingers crossed I get in. But it's actually super important to be doing these things and connecting it back. If you're just talking about the impact that you're having now, they don't necessarily understand how Taco Bell and Live Moss is going to fit into that. So you want to explain what you want to do in the future and how getting the money actually connects into amplifying that vision. So for me, I talked about how I would need financial aid, and would need to take on things like loans to go to these top universities. But by thanks to the scholarship, I was actually able to, and hopefully will get less loans and will need less financial aid. So you want to explain what the scholarship is actually helping you with, not just all of the things that you've done to prove why you deserve the scholarship in the first place. My fourth tip is to show and tell your impact. So a lot of what I did this through, and this is also why the video is key, is you can actually include a lot of pictures of the volunteering that you've done, or the people that you've interacted with, or the awards you've won from doing whatever you've done. So showing and not just telling your impact is super important. So yes, while I had a script and talked about underlying all of the activities that I did, it's super important for you to actually show images of what you've done. I think it's kind of like a great way of verification, because they don't really have a way to verify the things that you've done. But it's also great because it's going to show you actually in action. It's going to show you actually doing your passion, and it's going to give them this visual component that they will remember after watching your video, not just the stories that you're telling. Like my fifth tip is, which is probably one of the most important tips, is to have a clear narrative. So you want to have a through line and a story throughout. This kind of connects back to telling why you did all of the things that you did, but you really want to make sure that you have a clear narrative throughout. So it's kind of like college applications or any other scholarship or program applications, but you really want to have a narrative as to who you are as a person. So after watching their video, you want them to kind of have a 2-sentence or maybe 1-sentence synopsis of who you are, why you've done, and what you've done. So when I was doing this, I made sure that when I was editing my video and when I was scripting my video, that I made sure that I had clear components which illustrated why I did what I did, but really the narrative and the whole story that I was trying to tell. So one way I recommend you finding this is trying to write out that 1 or 2-sentence narrative that you want them to remember. So who do you want them to remember you as?
Whether do you want to be, I don't know, that math kid because, I don't know, your mom puts you in math Kumon when you were 2.
Whatever story or narrative connects to your activities, making sure that you have a narrative throughout the video, not just in one section or the other section, but all throughout the video will be in your benefit to not only make them remember you, but also to help you stand out if it's cohesive as a whole. My sixth tip is to choose your passion super carefully. So I actually really spent a lot of time thinking about this, and as I talked about earlier, I ended up going with community service. One reason I chose community service as my passion was because my activities were kind of scattered and all over the place. So you can only pick one passion, you can't pick several. So what I did is I chose community service because it was this kind of more broad and kind of more general category that I could use in order to present myself in the best way. So if you're more specialized, definitely go for that more specialized passion. There's so many passions that you can choose from, but you really want to show how your activities are connecting to that. So let's say you actually shifted your interest. So let's say you're actually interested in English, but you've won a bunch of math competitions and you tutor kids in math and you run a nonprofit that does that, choose the math one. It's really about the story and the narrative you're telling, and your passion is a key cornerstone of that, as to what your passion is, which is the categories that they've given you, and kind of how you've shown that passion. So making sure you're choosing a passion that aligns with your activities and aligns with your story is super important, because if there's a disconnect there, one, they may not buy the why of why you're doing all of these things, but two, it's really about impact. We already talked about how competitive this really is, so you really want to show your impact in the best way into fitting into who they want. They're really selecting an entire class, so they're not going to select everyone with the passion of math or everyone with the passion for business. So they're choosing certain people from their passions. They're choosing certain passions to be representative in their entire scholar class. So you kind of want to be a very unique asset, and you want to stand out by making sure that you're actually aligning to your passion. My last and final tip is to script and write it out. So I initially started trying to do it without a script. I'm a resident debater, so I kind of can go off the flow, but because you're so constrained by that 2 minutes, you can't go over. You should probably get around 2 minutes. It's probably okay to be under, but I literally had to edit it down from like 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And so I had to re-script it out, and I had to reshoot a bunch of clips. So that's also why you probably don't want to wait till the end like I did. It did work out, but don't do that. But essentially you want to script and reshoot it where you need to, because you want to make sure each section is tight but impactful. So you really want to make sure you're being intentional with your scripting to where it shows your personality, but even beyond your personality, you want to get out all of those details that you're trying to show them, the impact that you've made, because it's super important that you are at that 2 minute or under that 2 minute mark, because they won't even consider it beyond that. Final thoughts, because I know that was actually a lot of tips, but make sure that you're showing your story and why you are unique. Not only do you want to show your story and why you are unique, but the why and the impact that you've made on these activities. Their scholarship, their foundation, they're making a bet on you to be successful in the future. So show them why you are special out of all the 15,000 or more applicants that are going to apply this year. Disclaimer, I won't actually know the reason why I got the scholarship, but I hope some of these tips in showing you my video can help you win the scholarship. If you have any questions, all of my socials are linked down below, and feel free to reach out to me to ask any questions. If you want to, definitely let me know. We can connect on Live Mallers Connect and LinkedIn. Another video will also be coming out in a few weeks about MITES, MIT's Intro to Technology and Science. I'm actually a participant, or I was a participant of MITES semester. I just finished up in December. It will include testimonies, people's applications, and tips they have in order to getting into MITES. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I hope you got a lot out of it, and stay tuned for my next video.